Are breakers really to blame for high wax prices? Well, this is a response video to Neo Cards and Comics video from yesterday where he talked about breaking and whether it has broke the hobby. I've got my own thoughts. Let's get into it. Welcome back in ERB Sports fans to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about breaking and the hobby. Yes, breaking. The evil breakers. Are they to blame for high wax prices? Are they to blame for the sports card market crash? Are they to blame for everything that is evil in this hobby that we all love? I don't know. I am not sure I would blame the breakers. And the reason I say that is, yes, if you control availability and you hoard product and the only ones that you can get product from are the breakers, then sure, you can blame the breakers. If you want to blame the breakers because of marketing, sure, you can blame the breakers. But ultimately, at the end of the day, isn't this a consumer-driven market? People have the ultimate choice what they do or don't spend their money on. So how can you really blame the breakers if people are, I don't want to say dumb enough, but eager enough to buy into breaks because they like it, or because they're addicted to it, or because they think that's where they're getting the most value? I think it's a little bit of all of the above. Consumers do have the ultimate choice. If you offer a bad price on a break, or you offer a bad product to break, or you offer products that the consumers have had enough of, in the case of like what I have in front of me, let's say Topps Update, kind of an awful checklist. I've got a jumbo here. I spent my Ohtani dollars on this for my channel, and I kind of regret having it, but that's neither here nor there. Breakers are going to always be there. Kitchen table breakers, probably always going to be there. Institutional breakers, always going to be there. Platforms to break on, whatnot, Fanatics Live, always going to be there. When there's money to be made and there's a market to be created and there's a need to be filled, they'll fill it. If consumers stop buying into breaks and just literally spent their money elsewhere, which has happened a lot in singles, I'm obviously a channel here that opens a lot of cards. I've never broken a product in my life, never for somebody else, or never bought into a break. Never once have I ever bought into a break, and never once have I ever broken cards for somebody else. I don't think I'll ever do breaking on this channel because that's just not in my nature. I always view breakers as sort of a stockbroker, more or less. The house always wins. Win or lose, when you got a box and you're opening a box and you're opening at volume, sure, you're going to hit the highest of highs, but you're also going to hit the lowest of lows. And by and large, the breaker's always going to win. I have a brother-in-law. He's a breaker. He's been breaking since 2018, 2019. I think since Luka's rookie year, Trae Young's rookie year, definitely Zion and Ja. And I remember many times going over to their house during Christmas, during Thanksgiving, during holidays, and Andy would be breaking non-stop. He would do 5 or 6 breaks a day. I would see what he would open, and I would say, why do your consumers continue to buy into your breaks? You're not offering any value. First of all, a lot of breakers, when they open product, open it in volume, like a case of cards, or multiple cases of cards in the case of Bowman Draft here recently. Maybe they'll offer a mixer of a break like Striker does, or they'll offer a unique break experience like Jabs does, where he opens it on the Saturday Night Showdown. That's a break, but it's not really a break. It's more of gambling. And I'd look at what Andy would open, and I'd see him sift through cards, and I'd see him throw a ton of base cards in the garbage straight away. And I'd say, don't your customers want the base cards? And he'd say, nah, they only want the hits. How many customers are in your break room, so to speak, that you continue to provide a service to? And he said, about 1,200. Well, when you have 30 spots for an NBA, or 32 spots for NFL, or MLB, 30 spots, pretty easy to fill a break when you have 1,200 people to pool from. In the case of like Striker or Jabs, they've got the Patreon, they've got the Slammer Club or whatever. pretty easy to fill breaks when you have a lot of people to draw from. Many use it as a source of entertainment. I don't think you're using it as a source of getting rich. I sure as hell believe that to be the case. Many of the people that are in my brother-in-law's break room, I think, are addicted gamblers. We've talked about that on this channel many, many times. So are breakers really to blame for the high price of wax? Are breakers really to blame for the low availability of some wax? I don't know. I think, yes, they're to blame because they're providing the service, but the consumers are the ones to blame because they're the ones actually paying the bills. And until that changes, I don't see what NeoCards and Comics was talking about relative to high price of wax. I just don't see it changing. When we shift Fanatics when we shift the product over from Panini to Fanatics here in a few years, and maybe even as short as a year, and we go all football and all basketball and Topps products and whatever they end up creating, are we going to see reasonable box prices, or are we going to see more like what we saw with Bowman Draft here recently with Tom Brady cards in it? I think we're destined to see more of what we saw with Bowman Draft, and therefore more breaks. But if consumers don't like that, don't buy into the break. You can walk away from the table. It's like going to a casino and continuing to pump money into a slot machine to hope for a different outcome. There's a lot of casino analogies, a lot of sports gambling analogies to be drawn here. Fair enough. I myself will probably continue to never buy into breaks. And if the basketball products or football products, once they're in the hands of Topps/Fanatics, got to think of a better term for that. The Topps/Fanatics, we got to get rid of the slash. I really don't like that. But again, neither here nor there. So what is the future going to hold for breaking in this hobby? Well, it's probably never going to go away. There are going to be products that are going to release on a website that are not going to be designed to be broke by breakers, that are going to be low print runs, like in the case of Topps Chrome Sapphire Edition. The general public could absolutely have a piece of that product. If you want to have a taste of that product, you can either break it for yourself, or you can hold the box. Maybe you can sell it to a breaker. Give yourself a little bit of a chance to get a buffer so that you can pay for a break or two just for the sheer entertainment value of it. In the case of the products that we've seen already on the Topps website, like recently the Expectations boxes, you can run the print runs and they only made like 3,000 or 4,000 of those. So yeah, that could be designed to be broke by breakers, but it is a product that could be consumer driven too. So it is always a little bit of both. It's a yin and yang, it's a push and pull, it's a pendulum swings back and forth kind of thing. Breaking is never going to go away. Consumers are going to have the ultimate say where they spend their money. If they stop spending money on breaks, breakers will go away. If they start spending more money on breaks, breakers will continue to come more and more into the forefront of the hobby. Breaking platforms will continue to thrive. We do have some data to say that breaking is a little bit fragile. You know, the Sports Card Nonsense, Mike Geo, never met him. Actually walked past him at the National. Probably should have introduced myself, but he wouldn't have known who I am. He's probably never watched a single video on my channel. And that's fair enough. Doesn't have to. I think when his platform of Sports Card Live came about, that was geared specifically as a breaking platform. Well, that platform failed. Probably because it just didn't have enough funding behind it, enough kind of oomph behind it when it came to the number of breakers that joined the platform at the right time, and then Fanatics Live. It was an easy copied thing, right? You've got the TikTok breakers, the Instagram breakers, the Facebook breakers. You've got a lot of competition in that space. Fanatics Live, like I mentioned. Probably some other things yet to come about. I'm sure there's going to be something that we haven't even seen yet that's coming down the pike here, and it will be a breaking platform too. So it is a little bit fragile, but it is also, like NeoCards and Comics said, far too prevalent in today's market. Well, to summarize here and kind of draw this rant/ramble/informational session, whatever you want to call it, to a close, Are the breakers to blame for the high wax prices? Yes and no. I think it's the consumers who have the ultimate say. If they didn't want to buy into the breaks for Bowman Draft to go chase the Tom Brady card, they don't have to. They could wait. They could open the singles. They could, not open the singles. They could buy the singles. They could wait for the graded version. They could wait and wait and wait and wait it out for the prices to come down. When a bad product gets released on a website like Topps or Fanatics or Panini and it just sits there and rots, what happens? The price comes down. We saw that with Update Chrome. The rookie debut patches were in there. Yes, rookie debut patches, very, very hyped. People aren't buying into those breaks and the prices are crashing. As they should, because the price was too high. The consumers spoke with their wallets. There needs to be more of that. If we weren't so overhyping quarterbacks, we would probably see a similar thing with football cards. I don't know where basketball cards. I'm a huge basketball fanatic. I watch a lot of basketball. I watch a lot of Kings basketball, Warriors basketball, Bucks basketball, Pacers basketball, you name it. Probably know more about the NBA than any other sport out there. I don't open a lot of basketball products because I just don't think you get value out of them. But basketball products being broke during the heyday of Luka Doncic and Zion Williamson and John Morant were very, very prevalent. But people got burned, and eventually they voted with their wallets and they said, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I think until Victor Wembanyama has a couple years under his belt, or until somebody different wins a championship besides Nikola Jokic, LeBron James, Steph Curry, you name it, basketball cards are probably not going to take off anytime soon. So with that, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Who's really to blame for the breaking phenomenon? Is it the breakers themselves? Or is it the people buying into the breaks? I think it's a little bit of both. But I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Thanks again for watching, everybody. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Stay tuned for more content, and I'll see you in the next video.